Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're checking out the Process Audio Rockruepel Compressor 2, or COMP.TWO, and actually it's called Rockruepel, as the Germans call it. I can say that. I'm a native speaker, so Fab Dupont calls it Rockruepel with the French accent. That's of course the coolest, and Americans would call it Rockruepel, like yeah, whatever. So to let you know, Rupel is a whatever. I already messed this up. Is not a bully. It's basically a person with no manners. When you say, "Oh mein Gott, was für ein Rüpel," and actually having that on a compressor, that is not bad at all. So safe to say this won't be a TDR Kotelnikov super clean compressor. This is a vari-mu design. We just put this on the drums right now with, it's based on a real unit, on a vari-mu compressor, which is sort of like a Fairchild, a vari-mu tube control. The valve of the tube controls the compression. And we have a compressor section, an amp section here. We can turn a transformer on and off. We got sidechain. We got a mix knob. We can link the input and the output. We got mid side. And we have also something called the visualizer, which gives you an optical representation of, the signal before, the signal after, and how much we are compressing, or how much is over the threshold. Anyways, for now, I'm just going to take this off, but I think it's really cool to have that. We can also listen in on the external side chain. Unfortunately, we cannot listen in the side chain here, the internal side chain. And we have oversampling all the way to 16. That's pretty cool. And one feature I must point out, I really like, because I work on a 46-inch, 43 on a gigantic 4K display. And so if a plugin is not coded right and just doesn't have a scalability, then it might look like this. And it only looks larger when you have actually a lower resolution, just kind of counterintuitive. But I like to have it like this. And I also like it to map. I also like it mapping it, as you saw earlier, to my SSL UF1 or UF8. So I don't have to do this with the mouse. I don't do that right now because therefore you can see what I'm clicking on. Enough talking. Let's play with the parameters. Pay attention to my input, output. I'm trying to adjust that. Pay attention to compressor and amp only. And we're going to do a little bit of attack and release and see how this affects these drums, which are individual tracks, and see if we can bring those together. So no compression at all here. There's just the amp section. One thing that's absolutely critical to the workflow is, those are the instances that we have. I turned on the stereo version yet, but what I'm trying to say or show is we gotta have Wolfgang, otherwise it doesn't sound as good, right? Wolfgang or Hilda? Wolfgang. Here we go. Let's get back to it. one thing I have to say, of course, you have the input-output link that works, correctly, I should say, precisely when you have the amp only section. Of course, when you do that with the compressor on, well, then the more you put in the input, you are increasing the input, but whatever is over the threshold, of course, then gets squashed more and more. We do not know what the ratio is, but that's how it works with a vari-mu compressor. The more you drive it in, the more it reacts to the material. So I just wanted to make this clear. That's why you see me take this on and off and kind of make more adjustments. And I think it's kind of not that easy to do that with an algorithm. It's not always correct. It doesn't have to be 100% science. I like doing that by hand. It gives me a feel also for the plugin, and then to turn it on and off and just check on it. So what it does for me, it brings things a little bit closer together. These individual drum hits sound a bit more like music, like they've been played together by one person. Really like that. Now let's bring in the rest of the band, so to speak. I played a little bass and guitar on top of that, sort of demo track, so we can really kind of see how it reacts to these hits and rhythmic elements. And we are going to turn on the Rockruepel after listening to it on the mix bus. And everything is kind of like far apart and, not together. Yep, you can see this is like somebody recorded some tracks. So if we take off the transformer, it's going to bring back a little bit more of the low end because 20, 25 hertz. When I looked at the meter, the transformer does reduce that a little bit. So you can keep that out of reach here. Let's see how the whole thing sounds with mid-side. Just to be safe, I'm going to reduce the volume on my master fader. I like how it catches when the kick hits and the open hat go together. This as it opens up, it's not so obvious that it's like two things. It kind of like blends it together. Yeah, it catches that pretty nicely, I must say. And then we take the whole thing and drive it into a little bit of a limiter. I'm going to turn on, please don't make me forget that. So we have the same volume. We're just going to, so that that snare gets hit as well, gets taken care a little bit. Taking both off. Sure, we're losing a little bit but it's not such a wonky ship that's like kind of all over the place. We're like, yeah, the music is good. The drummer's good and, handles all that, but it's kind of like a disjointed, like a boat that rocks a little bit. And if we bring back now both Rockruepel followed by a little bit of limiting, kind of blends it together. Somehow I can't have both open at the same time because I decided I don't want to click this link button, whatever, We're a slow learner today. Here we go. Just reducing the guitars a little bit on my buses, just a little bit. Now I'm bringing a little bit more of the Rockruepel into the mix. Look at the mix knob I just changed. So now we can unlink this on the mid side. Let's listen to the sides. So yeah, because the hard panning of the guitar, the side compressor, if you change the threshold for the sides, that works harder. Of course, it grabs those guitars a bit more and just kind of makes it look more musical and less odd. But that's also, depending on, how you set up later on, maybe like some better room reverb and things and blend it together. Also, I'm listening over headphone right now while I'm doing this video, so everything's kind of hard panned. And so it's easy to give into, saying like, hey, that's kind of annoying. But if you listen to it, not on headphones on a big system, it's actually not that extreme. It's kind of normal to pan that way. Let's see how other materials fare. Drums, okay. No, I must say, the taxation on the system is, let's put that here, times 4. From Rockruepel, that's pretty efficiently coded, in the sense that when I change oversampling from times 4 to times 8 and so forth, or from 0 to 4, there's no huge jump. We had the drums, we always had that set at times 4, just that the one on the mix bus, I didn't set that. I forgot to set that, my bad. There we go. Well, obviously, in these portions here, we got a lot of EQing to do and a lot of blending to do. But I wanted to show you something that's kind of rough around the edges. That's where I feel compressors need to come in. If you have like that perfect, if you have a loop that you download somewhere, it has a lot of compression already on there. It's best to do that with things that need compression and misbehave a little bit. All right, guys, let me know what you think of Rockruepel. I think it has a lot of features that a modern compressor has in terms of usability, from the sidechain to the oversampling to this console link here. It's also one of the things here is you can change which version you address. So instead of having to switch that in the mixer and finding that plugin, you can do that right here. So I have normally the stereo, the mix bus on, and so I can switch to the drum version. It's kind of cool. And the more instances you have, the more it's going to show up here. What else? I mean, input link, input output link, attack release doesn't have any numbers, any milliseconds, what that is, but not that critical. I would like to be able to listen to the sidechain, to the internal sidechain, not just to the external one. That would be the icing on the cake. Loving that I have mid-side, dual mono, and stereo options, and that I can turn the transformer on and off. I can also use the amp section only. And just one thing I have to say, the saturation of that amp sounds great. And that's not a given with plugins. That's all I got for you. Massive Beats out.